Hello, and welcome to episode 136 of Daryl Show Your Work. All right, continuing on with the overall theme of exploiting CVEs. In this episode, I'll be exploiting a Samba related CVE, which is CVE 2007-2447. All right, so what exactly that is, I'm going to be diving into as I go along in this video. But first, I'm going to preface this with my usual disclaimer where anytime I'm doing any sort of offensive security activity or red teaming by saying that this is for educational, ethical, and research purposes only. Any sort of malicious activity that may directly or indirectly come from someone watching this video, I do not take responsibility for, nor do I condone. All right. So to get started, I've already done some pre-recording discovery here. My IP address is 10.10.49. Our target is located at 10.3.24.11. So let's jump right into this, and of course start off with some active recon to do some initial enumeration of the ports. All right. So since this is Samba related, meaning that this is going to be a Linux-based host. All right, I'm going to be targeting port 445 specifically here in my nmap scan. All right, so starting out, I'm going to say nmap, um, lowercase s, uppercase V for a service scan, and I'm going to do also a default script scan by saying lowercase s, uppercase C, and then specify the port -P. And then remember, we're aiming this at port 445, which is the default port for either SMB if we're talking about a Windows-based client, or Samba if we're talking about a Linux-based client, which in this case, our target is Linux-based. All right, so let's run that against our target host. And let's see if port 445 is open. All right, so it looks like port 445 is indeed open, and it's indeed running Samba, and it's running 3.0.20. All right, and that is the exact version that's associated with this CVE. All right, so again, I'm gonna jump into what that is, but once I get into the latter parts of the video here, and I won't be very long. All right, so all right, to get started, well, not to get started, but to carry on rather. All right, first I want to start enumerating this Samba version. All right, so I want to be able to confirm whether or not this, basically if this is the right version or not. So I'm gonna use netcat to do that, and I'm gonna say nc lowercase and then dash n for no DNS resolution, V for verbose output. All right, so I get something back here from netcat. Um, and then I gotta give the target host's IP address, and then port 445 is where I'm aiming this. And let's run this. So it doesn't appear to be any banner associated with this. So I'm gonna just go off of what nmap is telling me here. Not yeah. All right. So let me cancel out this, and then I'm going to jump right into the Metasploit framework here to see if I can find a module that exploitation module that can exploit this vulnerability. All right, and I'm gonna jump into exactly what the vulnerability is that it's trying to exploit here in a moment. All right, so I'm gonna start up the PostgresQL server and combine that with the step to start up the msfconsole. Okay, now that that's up and running, I'm gonna create a workspace for myself, and I'm gonna call this workspace Samba. So workspace -A in order to do so. Samba all uppercase. All right, and then let's set the target host as a global parameter, so I don't have to keep setting that when if I have to use more than one module here. So that's going to automatically configure to any module that I use during this session. All right, and then let's look up a module here that can verify the version of SMB that is running. So in order to do that, I'm going to look for what Samba that's running. Excuse me. I'm going to look for a SMB or version enumeration tool here. So I'm typing in search SMB underscore version. All right. So I found the tool here. It's the only one of its kind. So because of that, I'm gonna say use 0 since it has a module ID of 0. All right, and then let's go to show options to see if there's anything else that I need to configure. All right, we can see our host is already um, configured here since I set that as a global parameter. Our port is empty, so it's probably going to aim at multiple SMB or Samba related ports here because there's actually about 445, 139, 137, and 136, I believe. I could be wrong about those other two, but definitely 139 and 445. Okay, so um, let's run this and let's see what we get back. All right, so SMB detected versions 1. All right, and it's giving me back what nmap is telling me. All right, so we can see Samba 3.0.20 Debian. All right, so again, that is the exact version that I want. All right, now I need to search for these Samba related exploits. So let's open up, instead of looking directly into Metasploit for that, I'm gonna use searchsploit. So I'm gonna open up another, let's split this. All right, then set the font back to that. All right, and then just do searchsploit to see if I can actually find um, actual exploit associated with this version of Samba. All right. So I'm gonna say search exploit, Samba, and the version I'm looking for is 3.2 dot no, well, it was 3.0.20. All right. Okay, so we got about actually two that's specifically related to the one that I'm trying to target, the vulnerability that I'm trying to target here. So I want a Metasploit related related module. Let's see. So I believe this one is the Metasploit related module. Okay, so what's going on with this exploit? So what's happening is by specifying a username containing shell meta characters, attackers can execute arbitrary commands. So since the option is used to map usernames prior to authentication, it's not needed for this vulnerability to be exploited. All right, so that's what's going on in the back end of this vulnerability. All right, so then that's what I'm going to be exploiting. So I believe the one that I'm looking for is this one, this Ruby script, this 16.3.20. All right, so let's download that. So I'm gonna say, well, I'm not going to download it actually, 'cause I'm going to run this automatically. So let's go back here to Metasploit and see if I can find that within Metasploit, which I should, because I suspect that it is a module, but usually it tells you here if it's a Metasploit module, but I don't see anything. So let's see, let's try to do the same query here. Samba, we're going to say 3.0.20. All right, and there it is. All right, so it looks like this is the same one here. All right, so it gets the only one, it's the only option that is given me. And again, it's that username map script. All right. And so this is what I was talking about when I was giving a description of uh, of this particular exploit. So again, so what it's doing is that um, 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 after by specifying the username containing the shell meta characters, it is going to allow the attackers to be able to execute the arbitrary commands. And since the option is being used to map usernames prior to the authentication, excuse me, it's not needed for this vulnerability to be exploited. All right, so let's use 0 since that is the only option. All right, and then let's see, let's show options. Just make sure if there's anything that needs to be configured. All right, so L host looks fine since that is my local address here. L port is fine. R host has already been set. Um, as a global parameter, so that's good. So this one is actually targeting, this exploit is actually targeting port 139. All right, so in this instance, most instances where I've done Samba exploitations, it's targeted port 445, but this one is targeting Samba exploit. Excuse me, Samba port or SMB port 139. So that's why when I was running that auxiliary tool, that was left blank because we wanted to be able to run against all Samba related ports. And so be able to not just be restricted to one port where I could have specified multiple ports there, but I wanted to give it a free range just in case Samba was being ran on some alternative port or again, all or any related Samba port and wanted it to be able to give me the other feedback as far as what version of Samba was being ran on our target host. Okay, so looks like everything is good to go. Let's see. Just looking here just to make sure that I got everything. All right. So another interesting thing is on the back end is that this is going to use. I'm gonna try to find it as the exploit is going, but it also uses a reverse netcat shell payload by default. All right, so I wanted to mention that, and we could see this right here in the payloads. All right, so I could see if I could try to point that out when it's running. All right, so I'm gonna exploit it. There's nothing else to configure. All right, so we see the reverse TCP handler here. All right, command shell. So no, actually, all right, so it looked like it opened up a shell for me. All right, so it throws me actually right into a shell. So to verify that, I'm gonna say, who am I? All right, we can see that I have root access here, which is great. So that means I could pretty much run any command here on the system that I want. All right, so let's do a list all. Let's see what's in the current. Well, let's see pwbd. Or I'm in a root directory. All right, let's do a list all. See what's there. All right, we can see. All right, I have access to all of these folders here. Let's see. So let's see if I want. If I let's say I wanted to do. I just want to know more information about the actual operating system here, so I could do an Etsy star release and just cat that out. All right, so we can see that it's running Ubuntu 8.04. All right, so actually, I want to background this process because I want to upgrade to a Meterpreter session. So I'm going to say yes. All right, so in order to do that, I'm going to say sessions and then -u, that for upgrade, and then 1. All right, and should upgrade me to a Meterpreter session here. All right, so we can see that I have a second session open. So if I do sessions, All right, we can see that Meterpreter session here with a 32-bit connection, and I'm logged in as a root, so I'm gonna just say sessions 2 to jump into that. All right, and if I wanted to, do some more enumeration of the actual system, all right, again, we could see that we have that 32-bit connection, but actually Ubuntu 8.4 is running on a 64-bit architecture. All right, so I'm not going to try to migrate to a 64-bit process here, but I could if I wanted to, since I'm root. All right, and then we can see right here is the kernel information here. It says AWS, so there's a highly likely chance that this is some sort of EC2 instance. All right, and then let's see if I wanted to just verify. Yep, that I'm still root. All right, and we can see that here. So that's just to verify what we can already see. And let's say that I wanted to see what other users or server accounts, service account, excuse me, is on this system. All right, so we can see mostly service accounts. Looks like root may be the only. Yeah, it looks like root is actually the only user account on here because I don't see any other user accounts. These are all common service accounts. That's for this service account. All right, so I've already touched on that in the previous video. So I think this is an actual, and then we have user as well. So we have a user account and a service user account here. All right, this because there's no service that's just called service. All right, so we discovered in a previous video that this service account here is actually a user account once I attempted to brute force it and found password. All right, and then and let's say because I have, let's see, because I have root access here. Let's see if I wanted to see um, the actual password hashes for these accounts. Bam. So here are the hashes. All right. So one thing to take note of, and I mentioned this in a prior video, but again, when I see this, I want to just remind anyone watching here that when we see these hashes, always pay attention to these numbers in the front because that's going to give you an idea or be indicative of what hashing algorithm is in use. So the higher the number, the stronger the algorithm. So this has a $1, meaning that this is probably being hashed in MD5, which is a pretty weak hashing algorithm. So if I wanted to then just copy these and then begin trying to crack them with a password cracker like John the Ripper or Hashcat, I would probably be able to do it in a matter of seconds. All right, because this is a pretty weak algorithm. So that is CVE 2007-2447 targeting Samba. So just a quick run through of what I've done here. Did some initial enumeration. Found that our target port was open. I was running the protocol that I was looking at target, which was Samba. All right, and then I tried to verify that version that came back within nmap just to make sure that was running the right version of the protocol that was vulnerable. I didn't really get much from nmap. Then I tried to run a scanner on it from Metasploit and actually was able to verify that indeed it was running that version of Samba that is that's vulnerable to the exploit that I was trying to run here. And so once I got that verification, then I used searchsploit to see if I could then actually find the related exploit. Got a list, and based on the description, didn't really tell me whether or not it was excuse me, if it was the if it had a Metasploit module that I was looking to use, but judging from the judging here from the from the naming convention or the description here where it says username, and having an understanding of how it works, I was able to deduce that more than likely this was the between these two, that this one was the one that I was looking for. So I searched for that within nmap, configured it appropriately. Didn't really have to do much configuring because everything was pretty much pre-configured for me, since the only thing I really needed to do was set our remote host, which I did in the beginning as a global parameter. And so I ran that, which it targeted port 139 with a reverse ncat shell or payload. All right, and then basically got our shell session going. Did some initial enumeration in terms of the file directory, the operating system and release number. Then I upgraded to a Meterpreter session, got some more details on the system information, verified that I'm still running root, and basically got access to the Etsy passwd folder to see the user and the service accounts. And then I made a visit also to the Etsy password a directory, which then I basically did a hash dump, found the password hashes that are associated with some of these service and user accounts, which I could then revisit and try to crack later to be able to authenticate, to be able to legitimately authenticate here into this target host. So please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, show your work. And until next time, take care of yourself. God bless, and remember to patch your systems. Take care.